Is it a bad decision to marry someone who cheated with you in the beginning of the relationship? They cheated on their ex while they were dating you for the first few months. They didn't break up with them until you found out a few months later. I worked with a woman who had this scenario. A married man had been making advances on her. I advised her to stay away until he'd closed that whole relationship down. He eventually did. And he dated and eventually got married. 8 months later he ran off with another woman from work. The phone rang early one morning and he answered it. My colleague overheard him telling the person on the other end that he loved them. He hung up the phone, got dressed, said he was sorry, and walked out. She didn't see him again. If they cheated with you, they'll cheat on you. Also, they were dating you both at the same time for months. And you're considering marrying this person. Edit had more to say. So if they were dating you at the same time as they were dating someone else and you were not aware, then they were cheating on you too. I mean, I wouldn't. But I guess people decide for themselves what's okay in a relationship. For me, we wouldn't have got past me finding out they were cheating at the beginning of the relationship. To me, absolutely. I've become fond of the adage, the way you got M is the way you'll lose M. If that moral compass wasn't there, you'd need to see some genuine work on themselves to actually hope for a change. Or just stay beautiful and exciting forever. My ex cheated on me and she ended up with the new guy. Months later the new guy DM'd me and said she cheated on him as well. Multiple times with multiple dudes. And said she kept on comparing him to me when they were together. Not necessarily. But you've left out essentially all of the details which would lead someone to make a much more educated decision about the specific situation. I think it just really depends. Are they honest about the harm that caused? Regretful of it? And actively trying to better themselves? Might be fine. But if they're not remorseful in any way, I'd avoid. You can tell if something was a good or bad decision only looking backwards. Otherwise you can only speculate with some certainty. Based on the fact that he lied about it and didn't tell your friend he was in a relationship until she caught it herself, I would say it probably is a bad decision to marry him. I have a friend who started her relationship with her husband by cheating on her now ex. Years later and 2 kids later, she cheated again and now they're divorced. It is risky. I'll let you know. Married 12 years so far. No. My wife was in a very bad marriage when we met. She cheated with me. Divorced him. Married me and it's been 12 years and a kid later. Yea, they will cheat on you again when they get weak. Once you accept it, then you can make your decision. If they're okay with the cheater doing that to them one day, go for it. This is a question you should have asked when you initially found out they were cheating. Why did you continue the relationship afterwards? Yes. You leave them as you find them. It's a bad decision to marry someone. Worst decision. They don't respect anyone in the situation and they aren't gonna magically change. Magic isn't real. It's smoke and mirrors. Even though it looks real. It's a big mistake if you're going to marry someone who cheated you the first few months. It means that he still loves his ex. If someone will cheat with you, they will cheat on you. This isn't some overlap. You found out and they decided to stick with their side piece, you instead of their partner. There's a quote that works for all genders: when a man marries his mistress, he creates a vacancy. In my opinion, If you decide to start a relationship with someone who you know is betraying someone else to be with you, you're just as bad as the cheater. I know some people will disagree with that, or argue that the cheater is the only one breaking a commitment. But you can't convince me that any decent, emotionally mature person will be willingly complicit in deceiving and hurting someone else. Woman shrugging. At the very least, you lose the right to act surprised if when your partner inevitably does the same thing to you. Play heartless games. Win heartless prizes. Yes. Yes. Sometimes when someone has to ask, it's BC they know it is. Yes, personal experience. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is. The wording of this post is weird. This didn't happen to me, buddy. It happened to you. Yes. Duh. Next question. Yup. Of course it is. Probably going to depend on the exact situation, but yeah. This particular situation sounds like way more than a drunken mistake on one night kinda thing. Someone who can cheat and lie for months is likely to do it again. IMO. An instant stupid decision like a one-night stand, I may be able to forgive. If people aren't allowed to learn and change and get better, what's the point of anything, lol? This happened to me. And we are happily married. Don't believe cheater is always a cheater. It's not black and white. I know couples where exactly this scenario worked fine, but that's the exception. I don't think I could respect someone who continues to cheat for several months. At best they are spineless cowards who don't have the balls to tell their partner. At worst they have no moral compass, no empathy, and are ruthlessly selfish. My ex cheated to be with me, and you guessed it. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If he cheated once, would be easier to cheat one second time. So, no. Someone I know left his family and moved away and started a new one. 18 years later left again. No warning. Well, I did it. And she left me too, so I dunno. Maybe it's not the best idea. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Hell yeah. For two reasons. The first one is that if you respect yourself, you shouldn't be with a person that didn't, even if they've changed. Second is that unless you really forgive, probably with professional help, and they really change, there will always be a lingering feeling of mistrust and hurt. Not the best foundation of a marriage. There is no right answer to this. It can absolutely work out, or it could be disaster. The only way an accurate answer could be given is we knew the person pretty well, and if they are sorry, how did they show they were sorry? And a bunch of factors that could go into them making a mistake once in their lives, or they could be liars and serial cheaters. Only the person who wants to marry them can make that decision. No way, this is a legitimate question. How you get them is how you lose them. Absolutely bad idea. I went through the same thing as you about not knowing they were with someone else. Twice. 2 different women. 2 different states. Cheating can be considered an addiction just as much as drugs and stealing. Once they get away with it once, there's really nothing to stop them from doing it again except their own conscience, and 99% of the time they don't care about feeling guilty. Yes.